Hey traders, welcome to Charts and Coffee. Hope everyone's having a good morning. Happy Tuesday, everybody. We are kicking off the morning with a quick look at the indices, and it's definitely worth taking some note here. And by the way, as you're looking at the screen on the far left, those are the notes that I keep for myself, for members of the Sector Secrets Mastery. If you're not taking notes, and I don't mean journals, dear diary, the market was mean to me today. I don't mean that kind of stuff. In fact, one of the things that I did about 20 years ago is I just grabbed some screen capturing software that would allow me to take a snapshot that was annotated of my trades before and after I got in. So that really replaced sort of the trading journal of what it is that I was trading. And then, as many of you know, we plug in all those trade results. What is it that I traded? Well, our platform does a great job, whatever platform you're on, does a great job of obviously tracking all your trades. And then you can get a report spit out via any one of these trade tracking pieces of software. A lot of folks ask me, Rob, what do you use to track trades? It really doesn't matter. Find one that you like. I've been using, TradesViz for a good bit now. And we've been using this, I guess, for about almost 2 years now, I guess. And so what we do is, what I do is I take the Excel files of the trades that have been taken in my account, and we upload them into this thing. And it starts to break down a lot of things that are happening sort of under the surface. P&L is a very shallow and frankly not totally useful metric, right? And the reason I say that is because it masks, like, for example, I'll tell you, I'm gonna do a little bit right here. I'm gonna upload the next 2 weeks here, and we'll do a update over at Countdown Trader later this month as the month wraps up, which we're practically there. And what I'm going to notice is I do have some disproportionate wins. Not that I mind a triple, a home run every now and then, but I do not want my account growth to rely on these outsized moves that happen from time to time. I'd like to be positioned for them, but I don't want to rely on those for the account growth. And you'll know, because your P&L will look less like that nice smooth higher and more like flat, flat, flat jump, flat, flat, flat jump. And we also know flat, flat, flat drop, flat, flat, flat drop can also be the result of, trying to swing for the fences. So, that's not something I want to see very often. We're going to have them. These are great problems to have, but I want to see that nice stair stepping of the P&L month in and month out. So that's something I'm going to do. I'm going to start off with making notes of what I'm doing. That's the page you see, or the little slice of the screen you see to the left. And then I'm going to work the charts, right? And that's what we do every single day. One of the first things I'm going to do in the morning is I'm going to take a look at where we are in relation to yesterday's close. Why does that matter? It matters because there's a huge amount of sentiment wrapped up in whether broader market participants think they're up from yesterday or down. It's a huge sentiment read. It's a huge way to understand what a very broad sort of general group of traders are feeling, although we don't want to go there, but whether they're feeling about their positions, whether or not they're bullish, whether or not they're bearish. And for us, that's the sentiment. And that reveals the path of least resistance. And so today, I'm not going to say, oh my gosh, it's a terrible day. No, we're kind of hovering in the Dow around that previous session close. S&P, we're just above it, a little bit bullish. And by the way, you're going to notice, and this has been happening now for about a week, we are seeing a lot of differences between what's happening in Russell, Dow, NASDAQ, S&P. Please know that while we like to see broad risk appetite, we want to see traders and investors buying all the things, right? That's an easy market to trade. We all love that. But that's not the normal market. The normal market is understanding why the NASDAQ might be up, understanding why the S&P is up. And, I know it sounds like a skipping record. I hope I sound like a skipping record. At this point, financials really do continue to lead the charge. And this is not a new story. This is a story that has been pretty much in place since Q4. if there is a sector that we have been extremely active in, it's been financials. This is not a new narrative, right? But I would love for sort of it to become the it sector, right? Let everyone else start to pay attention to what's going on in XLF, and that's going to help the positions that we continue to take in this environment, like Yahtzee, American Express, right? Where are you going to find these kinds of moves, punches up to higher highs? Find the alignment, and that is what I'm showing you here. All right, so as always, gang, if you have any questions, feel free to type them in. And, one other thing, let me mention this, because a lot of traders sadly think that trading is about finding that needle in a haystack. It's about finding that one stock that's having that great day, week, month, whatever. I am not that trader. In fact, our account growth in the mastery has nothing to do with home runs. In fact, not any of the growth of January or February has come from sort of those it stocks. So I pick whatever your it stock is. None of this growth has come from those kinds of names. If you're looking for stability, if you're looking for consistency, I mean, frankly, who isn't? But if you're looking for that, how do you find it? You find it by focusing on the relative outperformers within the sectors, within the indices. So that means that wonderfully, your group of stocks is a pretty steady group. One of the other things that have made a big difference in my trading is focusing on, of course, relative outperformers, but really the same 30, 40 stocks throughout my career, right? Don't force yourself to think, I got to find that up and comer. It doesn't have to be that way, right? Make it easy on yourself. Trading is hard enough, right? You know that professional gamblers and rocket scientists and mathematical geniuses play the game that we're playing. I don't need to be any of those people. I just need to find where the psychology is. When young traders ask me, Rog, I'm going to college, but I want to be a trader like you. What should I study? I always tell them the same few things: psychology or sociology, history. Those are going to be really good. I double majored. I majored in psychology and English, right? English is a great one too. Learn how to think about how the market's communicating to you. And right now, gang, the markets are still bullish. The markets, meaning the indices, are still very, very bullish, right? We don't hate our money. We don't need to pick tops. We don't even need to pick the hot stock, right? So let's get into it. As always, you know where to find me, over at sectorsecrets.com in the Sector Fu Dojo. Kung Fu, who needs it? We need Sector Fu. All right, let's get to it. What are my thoughts on VKTX? All right, let's see. I don't even know what that is. VKTX, Viking Therapeutics. All right. The reason I say I don't know what that is remember, so there's two things that everyone should know. Stanley, two things. One, where is Viking Therapeutics weighted? And frankly, does the healthcare sector, S&P, or Dow care? If it doesn't, it's not usually going to end up on my radar. This is not one of those names. Nothing wrong with that, just it's not going to end up as something I'll trade. The other thing too is, I mean this as gently as possible. Who cares? It's already moved. It's made up. This is not the room for Rog. Something went from 38 to not a stock that I'm going to. What are my thoughts? None. That's frankly, Stanley, honestly, that is not even going to be on the radar for me. I am not going to go into where everyone's waking up, seeing a gap. That's just not my style. And the reason I want to make sure I'm clear about that is there's nothing wrong with that style. It's not my style. I don't want to be chasing into something higher. But, one thing that's worth mentioning, and sadly, for most traders, something like VKTX only ends up on the radar after it makes this parabolic move. And I hope you're already in it. If so, congratulations, Stanley. But notice that this thing has been in an uptrend for months. This is how we take advantage of those big moves. We're already focusing on things that are strong. We're already focusing on things that have a clear path to the upside. And then you'll end up with moves like that parabolic move, right? So I hope that helps. But I'm not the one who's going to be looking at a gap up like that. It doesn't end up on the radar. All right, Reinhard asks, when day trading is hard, right now day trading is sloppy. I don't want to use the word hard, and I'm sure I've uttered that before, but I don't want to think about something being hard or easy, but rather is the organization of a 5-minute time frame, which is my preferred day trading time frame. Is it really a um, is it really a time frame that right now has clarity of sentiment, clarity of trend? And we do, but it's very spotty. We don't have that organized move. So in the challenging part of it right now is not that we'll be lacking fills, but follow through, right? So at that point, here's a challenge, and I completely appreciate the question, Reinhard. Swing trading has been phenomenal, but the only reason I know that swing trading is getting good and productive and frankly profitable is because I don't stop swing trading. So there was a period of time where the day trading was just off the charts, awesome. If I stop swing trading, there's no way for me to keep a pulse on that. So the same way that organically we will slow down our activity on day trades, my normal day trading pace is 3 to 5 trades in the morning, 2 to 4, 3 to 5 trades every morning by about 10:30. That has slowed down very naturally to about 1 to 2. So I'll just organically let the lack of structure, the lack of setups slow my activity down, while I will also let, when we're keeping our eye on it, the 1 hour in the daily start doing some more heavy lifting. There is no way to know. So anything, Reinhard, anything that says this is what's going to happen, everyone likes to predict, right? It's fascinating to me. Top picking is predicting, right? Oh, this is the top. That's a prediction. This is where we're going to be in 3 months. That's a prediction, right? If I sat here and talked about, and I do this during football season, if I sat around on Tuesday and said, hey, the so-and-so versus the so-and-so, the spots versus the stripes, the score is going to be this on Sunday, everyone would collectively kind of roll their eyes and go, okay, Rob, good guess. We'll see what happens, right? And yet, that is what masquerade around as analysis in Wall Street. We perfectly accept that a grown adult is willing to, with a straight face, tell us what's going to be happening in 2, 3, 4, 12 months, right? So no, there is no prediction in the markets. I know that is not the popular take. A lot of people will give an answer to that. Where are we going to be in 3 months? I don't even know what I'm having for dinner tonight, right? And so I think anything that starts off with my having to predict future behavior, I'm in big trouble, right? I'm in big trouble because, there's no tooth fairy. There is a Santa, though. I'm still holding out, but there's no prediction in the market. Those crystal balls, yeah. Put them on the shelf. All right, dimed out. When someone joins Sector Secrets, do they also get access to the indicators? Dimed out. If you want to know more about the mastery, head on over to sectorsecrets.com. Right now, we have a trial. The trial has ended. There is no more access to the trial. And in that trial, yes, those of you that are in there, there's a number of indicators we have access to. The regular Sector Secrets Mastery does come with a number of indicators, just not the trial ones, continually from month to month to month. But we do give you wave grab candles. We do give you hourly price movement ranges for the index futures and the ETF version. We do give you my slow dose. So there are a number. Yes, I just don't want to confuse where we are with the trial process right now, the 30-day trial membership with what we do normally. I will tell you this, dimed out. If you are holding out for some cool stuff, I have a class coming up basically in about 7 weeks, 6 weeks. And those are by far going to be your best bang for the buck. And we're going to be revealing some very cool, at that point, 12 or 13 month tested upgrades to some tools that I have been using for a really long time. This is the first upgrade I've done of these tools in my career. So we have some cool things in the works right now. And I mention that because those classes are going to give you fantastic, a lot of good stuff's included in those classes, as well as oftentimes access to the room too. So just trying to give you more for your buck, more bang for your buck. All right. I've been in sound since last week. What are my thoughts? Cash Gravity, give me a question specific to what you're looking at, and I'm happy to help. Which website do I use to see the breakdown in percentage of market sectors such as XLK? Eddie, we like to use ETFDB in the Sector Secrets Mastery. So as far as VKTX, this is what I do know about VKTX. XLV is a giant sector, right? the high concentration weighted names in XLV are UNH and J&J. Now, could VKTX with that outsized move again help healthcare? Absolutely. But again, I'm not going to play giant gaps up. Either I'm already in because of the tools telling me, hey, here's where the outperformance is within the XLV, which is an easy thing to sort out, Stanley. You can see those things. You could actually look at all the healthcare stocks in XLV and say, hey, these are the ones in trends. These are the ones that are not. And that's where VKTX would have absolutely ended up on your radar. But it requires that process of understanding the stocks within the sector and monitoring them, right? What about MU and Qualcomm? I'll tell you, Bo, for about 2 weeks now in the mastery, we've been pretty much avoiding a number of tech names because of NVIDIA and because, frankly, there are other sectors that are outperforming like financials. However, I can tell you this, MU is not on the radar because kind of going back to what Stanley was talking about, am I pinpointing the relative outperforming indices, sectors, and then stocks? Qualcomm is okay, but when I take a look at, and this is the SMH, right? So let's just crack open the SMH. When I'm looking at SMH, I'm looking at the top weighted names. They're the most influential on that sector. And then I'm going to look at which ones have the structure. And Qualcomm actually is not one of them. NVIDIA, ABGO, ASML, AMD, AMAT, and LRCX. That's how we prioritize. That's, kind of going back to Stanley's question on the healthcare. Same thing. Grab the heavily weighted stocks. You can go all the way down the list, right? If you want to put all the stocks in a template like we share, or in a couple of templates, because there's a lot of stocks, or if you just want to scan all the names in XLV in such a manner that you can see where the relative performance is, it's very doable. And this is basically the process, right? Okay, next up is Tesla. Oh, Tesla. So if anyone watches the show, Charts and Coffee, you know that there are those names that are good to trade, and there are those names that we like to trade. Tesla has not been a stock that I would recommend anyone spend their time on because it's going to be less productive than finding names that are moving higher in an overall uptrend. I can't tell you the last time I traded Tesla. Tesla's one of those names that people just always want to know what's happening next because they're waiting for what? Another 2020 moment? Gang, don't work that shift. It's being added to the S&P and having a stock split in the same year is not going to happen again, right? We might get another stock split, but those two things that made Tesla this beloved stock, it's not happening right now, right? So I can't emphasize that enough. When I look at XLK, I can see, actually, I need to go to XLY, consumer discretionary, and then the NASDAQ and S&P. Of all the things I could focus on, am I going to focus on a stock that's largely been in a downtrend for about a year? Am I going to focus on a stock that's still below the 200 when the NASDAQ is making higher highs, right? So ultimately, no, I don't want to pay attention that much to Tesla, although I get this notion that, hey, eventually it's going to do that thing that it does. We'll wait for a setup. 1, 2, 3 might be a good thing to look at in a neutral environment, but it's got to get with the program, and it simply has not. Amazon, Lowe's, Home Depot, TJ, there's so many other names. And that's got to be a question that a lot of traders have to ask themselves first. Of course, gang, this is my opinion, right? But why should a stock get my attention, get my capital is really important. All right. So from our essentials room, all right, Prashant asks, what is the best strategy for scalping options? Prashant, all right, I will tell you this right now. Bot scalping. Lorna Bot is our resident scalper. And every day she's in the Sector Secrets Mastery, she has a process, a repeatable process for scalping that she teaches. It's the only kind of scalping that I've even given my seal of approval to because it's not a style that I typically gravitate towards, but it is a very effective style that I would put within the umbrella of day trading. And if you want to learn more about it, come check it out in the Sector Secrets Mastery. She teaches it once or twice a week. She live trades with you all using her strategy and indicators as well. So the best strategy is the only one that I've ever seen tested This was 2 years of testing, and then now the bot shares that in the Sector Secrets Mastery, in the Sector Food Dojo. So you can come check that out at sectorsecrets.com. All right. Next up is, let's see. XBI and RTY are strong this morning. Now let's see what happens after the bell. And then if we see XBI and RTY, XBI is interesting because here I can take a look at the stocks within XBI, what is weighted within it, and then see if there is an opportunity to trade it. Now the challenge is going to be, do I have XBI here? I may not. The challenge is going to be this. What stocks within it are moving higher? And XBI itself, is it even a liquid option, right? And so if I look at, say, the March 1, March 8, it's a little spotty, but there are some good liquid strikes. And then March 15 is fantastic. So yeah, I mean, for sure, pull back on XBI. Again, it's not about, wow, we're up today, or we're moving up through 99 or 100 today. It's where can I put in the position to set myself up for benefiting from these moves. And Dave, hopefully you're in it. I'll say the same thing I mentioned to Stanley. If you're in it, great. Today, there's not a darn thing I can do with it up at these highs, nor would I want to. Either I'm in it already and benefiting from the move, or I'll wait for the next opportunity. Yeah, Microsoft, daily price movement range. Again, I have not been super keen on tech, but green eggs and ham, we're going to continue to focus on the VKTXs. And gang, thank you for all the follow-up. I am not trading it. Thank you. VKTX is an XBI. Okay, cool. I'm not trading it. But clearly a heavily weighted stock can carry it higher. I don't know if, like I was showing you all the XLV weighting, it's not even a top 10 weighted name. I don't know every stock in the ETFs, but I do know the top 10 to 11, right? And so when I do know that a heavily weighted stock is making a move, it's the most consistent influencer within the sectors and within the indices. Can other stocks that are lower weighted in whatever the sector is have an outsized move? Yes, but these are not the things that we want to hinge our trading career on, right? We don't want to rely on those big moves. At least I don't, right? If that's a style you want, I am not the trader or mentor for you. I want to be really, really clear. If finding those kind of names to grow an account is what you like to do, you will not like the style of trading that I do. And I think it's just as important to share what I do with you all as well as what I don't do. Will the tools and the process work? Yeah, absolutely. If you want to crack open a sector and find the relative outperformers within it, that is my process, right? So you can apply this to anything, right? You can find the BKTXs of the world. You can find, when maybe Tesla is starting to become an outperformer if you embrace this style of high concentration weighted oriented scanning rather than, what's gapping up today kind of thing. That's just the way I look at it. All right. Next up is, yes, Italo, I concur. The bot, yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Let's see what we have here. Who teaches swing? That would be me, Rafael. I do the swing trading. I do the position. Well, so we have 4 styles of trading in the Sector Secrets Mastery. 1, we have the day trading. We have the scalping that bot does. And you might say, Rog, how do you do all these styles? Different styles have different times of day that they are ideal for. Day trading, scalping, it's a little bit more hands on the keyboard, hands on the mouse approach. It's great to do it live. Oh my gosh, it's 9:25. I got to shut up now. But ultimately, what we want to remember is that regardless of the style, we have to make sure it fits our schedule, right? So those are things that I mentioned. All right, I got to wrap it up. Sorry, gang, I totally rolled over on time. I will see you all in the mastery in just a few moments. Be good to each other, gang.